What's up, y'all? It's Warren Hampton.
And Roicia Hampton.
We're back with Not For Real with a new episode about being equally yoked. We're going to take y'all to church again. So get your church fan, get your church hat, and get a peppermint or something. Sit down. It's Not For Real.
Not for real.
This is Warren Hampton. So, we are back. You know who it is. Warren Hampton.
Roicia Hampton.
Listen, we love all the feedback we've been getting from y'all. We just want to say thank you so much for your support, for your love, for your comments, for just so much. I mean, the DMs. Yeah, I was going to say that. So, your sisters being blessed.
Yes.
Brothers being blessed. Brothers, y'all need to be more vocal. Our sisters are hurting out here, and I'm gonna get into it with y'all because I feel sorry for my sisters. I'm gonna just say that right now. But before we get into all of that, listen, we just want to thank you for your feedback. So keep dropping it in the comments and sharing what you're loving and how you're being blessed, and also like and subscribe, do all that good stuff, share it with somebody. But listen, we want to open this up to y'all to send us an anonymous emails if you want. So send us a for real story. That's what we're going to call them.
Yeah, for real. Because I know when we be talking, I'm like, nah, for real. This is what happened.
And because we already had this kind of plan, but we've already received some
scenarios, so
Lord
to speak.
Jesus. And God is moving, and people are really taking an evaluation of where they are individually, relationally, and how they're loving themselves, like pastors and just people that we know. So we want to read your emails. So send it to notforreal1, number 1, notforreal1@gmail.com, and send us your stories and what you may have questions about, what you want to see on the podcast. But if you want us to share an anonymous story or just share how even this podcast has been blessing you, send it to there.
Or maybe it's a challenge that you're experiencing that you would maybe like our expertise on, or what would we do, or how would you navigate this challenging situation? Like, we can share that story with the viewers also in an anonymous way, and kind of give you some tips and tools and how we would navigate that challenge.
Absolutely. And since we don't want to be so deep all the time, and I know people get sick of us talking about love, but guess what? Black Bride just featured us in a magazine. I know by the time y'all see it, it'll be out. And if you follow us on socials, you'll see it. But we got a chance to talk about what does Black love mean to us. And there were 5 couples that gave their responses in blackbride.com. And so I'll share what I said Black love means to us. And then we're going to get into these cards. It's called the And. So the And cards are by the Skin Deep. And these are cards to what? What do we do with these cards?
These, these cards we use together to create deeper intimacy with one another. Mm-hmm. We've been together for some years now, and we continue to discover each other. We continue to unpack. This allows us to feel safe and connected and share with each other maybe something that we may not have wanted to share, but when it gets brought up in a card, it kind of gives us permission to get into that. So we'll get into that a little later.
Yeah. And it's so good. It's so fun.
It's the couples edition. There's different variations, but this is the couples edition.
And shout out to Hacks for Marketing, who has been producing and editing our podcast. So we couldn't get this done without Hacks for Marketing. So shout out to the A. Peace up. A-Town down. You know, Usher just did the Super Bowl. Yes.
And
So,
shout out to Cousin Sade for gifting us these.
yes. Thank you for that. So practical tools. So this is what I want to share. What I wrote for Black Love, and then you can share yours. So I said, Black love is the most powerful expression of who we are as royal people. It is more than a hashtag. It is holy and healing. It is transformative more than trending. It is the quintessential force that created all life on this planet. Black love protects Black women. Black love honors Black men. Black love cultivates our families. Black love is the past, present, and future. We must honor our love because God is love. You want to share yours?
Sure.
Come on, read it. Because you was so eloquent. I know you weren't.
You're the wordsmith.
I mean,
but
it's not a competition though, baby.
It's not, but I'm just saying this is definitely yours.
It's like story time.
So I shared what Black love meant to me, and I said Black love is revolutionary and transformative. It has the power to heal our pasts, our traumas, and seeks to remind us of the gentle regalness we carry. Black love seems to remind us of our royalty stemming from our fingertips to our wombs. Black love ignites our God-given powers within us to be a pure conduit of love as Christ loves us. Black love has the power to uplift, create, teach, guide, and restore hope in all of us and our communities.
Amen. See, you have your own way of saying it. Black love is amazing. So shout out to Kennedy Lachey for that. One of my young people who's become a dope creative and a stylist. She styles gowns and fashion and all that stuff. So shout out to her for asking us to do that. And you know, we've talked about that in most of the podcasts. We've led all of that. We've told that story all up to the point we got a whole magazine article. We did, like, God is so good, that just blew our mind.
You know, that was quite special.
It was special. So, since we are special and
I'm gonna let the people in on something that we also do.
Okay.
If we find a card that we don't like, we just throw that. We're not gonna acknowledge.
So you don't like that one?
That we're not gonna.
Okay.
We have to be careful and protective of the words that we speak.
Yes.
That's just not something that we're willing to consider. That card.
Yes. So,
yeah, you're allowed to play how you want to play this game. We play it our way. I mean, it came with rules.
It did. We didn't know them, and I'm trying to see if these. It's okay. I'm gonna read these as they are. So, ladies first. Let's go. And this is how you can connect. We just want to give you a practical example, and then we'll give you some more resources and books. But we want to have a little fun.
Do you keep putting these cards back?
They're not shuffled?
No. Well,
hold on. Let me give you 3 more because I feel like.
Okay.
Go ahead and shuffle them because I can't shuffle. So
I want to verify that you threw away the other cards that we pulled.
I thought I did.
Because I feel like you just put them right back in the box. Because I was like, oh, well, that was a terrible one.
That was the devil. I did. I promise. I thought you know what? I might have been tired and saw them on the floor.
Yeah.
Because we play it in the bed.
And we literally throw them on the floor.
Yeah. And so I probably was just cleaning up. I was like, oh, let me put these cards back in because I was tired.
Well, and I just shuffled them into it. So here.
So you got 3.
What's your favorite? Oh, come on. You got to read this.
Okay. All right. The question was, what's your favorite kind of adult movie to watch? Nah. Throw that out.
I feel like
Okay. No. You know what?
We can play it.
No, we gonna play it.
Okay,
Ours.
let's play it. I ain't scared.
Ours. Okay. All right, next card. Do you ever get jealous of my success?
Ooh, I love that. First of all, jealousy is not something that I experience often.
Yes.
Which I'm grateful for. Mm-hmm. Some people, I feel like, are born with a spirit of jealousy. I think I may have other things that I can do better at. Jealousy is not one of them. So, no, to quickly answer. Also, I can't, because I'm a successful person, I feel like I can acknowledge and appreciate somebody else's success.
Yes.
Because I knew what it takes to get there and to achieve that.
Yeah.
And it's like, hats off to you, rather than like, why not me?
Yeah.
So I feel that's my answer, Alex.
Okay. I'll accept that for 200.
Okay.
All right. You're on the board, Roicia.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You?
Ooh. You want me to go again?
Yeah. It's 3-3.
Oh,
We're at.
Okay. How have I changed since we first met, and what do you miss about me? This is a great question.
How have you changed? You have matured into a beautiful queen. You were a young woman when I met you that was still teachable and moldable and humble. And so from that, you have grown into a beautiful, strong, soft, serving, safe, secure woman. You were already secure, but more secure. What do I miss? I don't miss anything about the old you. I love the new you.
Yeah.
Which actually, I'm gonna get into the
I was gonna
podcast
say,
a little bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say that actually is a good segue into.
Yeah, because seasons change with each other, and we, like the leaves, being in Charlotte, we see the environment of the trees and the just the beautiful colors that God has created, and leaves know when to let go in what season. And so I tell you what I don't miss. I don't miss the skinny you in the season of grief.
Yeah.
That was hard, but you have to love people through that. Like that, it was very hard to love through that season.
Because you knew what it was attached to. It wasn't necessarily me losing weight and being thinner. Because I want to make that clear. I feel like that could be misconstrued.
Oh yeah, good.
But I know what you're saying because I look at pictures of myself and know what season of grief I was in, and it's just alarming to look at. Like, wow. And it wasn't because I was eating less. I eat the same habits, but it's really what I was going through.
Yeah, and it was those seasons like that was just a hard season to see you transform like that from when I met you. But I believe you look the best that you ever looked. You're glowing. People see that. Matter of fact, people think you are with child. We get that so much.
Can I get some time in with my husband?
Right. I'm like, but it shows. It also does show like the love that we are experiencing. Because people feel that and they see it. So I would say that would be the answer to that question. And also to the point of we have to let go of the old so that the new can come. Yeah,
and I think if we use the theme of seasons of our lives, we will know and expect all of the time that things will always change. And we will not get comfortable in the fact of like, this is how it is, this is how it's always going to be, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
We have to acknowledge that we are in seasons with the earth.
Yes.
We are as seasons change, we change, our mood changes.
Yeah.
Growth happens, death happens, life happens.
Yep.
And with
rest
that,
happens.
Rest. Shout out to Trisha Hersey.
Yes.
Rest happens.
Yes.
But
Rest is Resistance, the book.
Yes. So yeah, I think we can move forward with, and that's another key to relationships, I feel like, is that not allowing people to be just you seeing them in this one season and holding them to that season for continuously with, life expectancy. Like say, for example, you were in your best balling stage and life can happen experience where you don't have that income anymore and it's a season of change. Right.
And will you still love me through that?
Correct. Yes. And we should be gentle with each other through seasons of change.
Yeah. That's good because I had a card before we reshuffled them. It says, "Why do you love me?" And I remember Dr. Miles Monroe said, you should never have a reason why you love somebody. You just do. You love them. You just love them for who they are. And so if you had a reason, he said, that reason can change. So if you loved me because I had
because you could provide
money,
for me.
Yeah. Or if you loved me because my body looked different, will you love me after it changes? And I think there was a lady on Instagram that was like, you have to know if you're going to marry somebody, if you ever were to be like, incapacitated, will they change your diaper? Like, that's the
Yes.
type of love throughout the seasons you need to know you're getting into, not just this sometime you make me feel good because Summer Walker or Usher told me, but we ain't good.
But
We ain't good. You know, some people really ain't good. We ain't good, but we still good. Some people ain't still good with us. And anyway, let's get back to the questions. I want to finish this.
I'm next.
Oh, no. You asked me.
No. That was card 2.
Yeah, I didn't ask you card 2. Yeah, so I still have 2 cards. You got 1. This is your turn to answer.
Oh, I swear
What-
you told me to go through all of them.
Oh, no. I want us
Okay.
to go back and forth.
Okay, go ahead.
Jealous of my success. You got that?
Oh, I see.
Who takes more responsibility in our relationship?
Like in disagreements that we have?
I don't know. I didn't come up with this. This is the skin deep.
Like responsibility. I feel like for whatever we do, I feel like there's equal partnership.
I do too.
But I will say, 99% of the time,
Cooking?
it's an equal partnership.
Yeah.
Well, no. But with the, what did it say specifically?
It just says who takes more responsibility. Yeah.
Okay. So I will say that if we do have a disagreement, you 99% of the time will take more responsibility. And because you lead us back to love and you lead us into, okay, apologies.
I'm like, you gonna say it? You gonna?
So yeah,
Because sometimes I have an attitude. There's a blank. I need you to fill in the blank part of the blank and. I need that.
gosh.
That's how we get. Anyway.
Yeah. So yes, I would say for that part, yeah. You do better than me. So
I've got it in my life.
yeah, close to
I mean,
it.
you do too.
But you closer because there's some things where I'm like, I'm good and mad.
Yeah.
So sure.
Thank you for your honesty.
You're welcome. What in our relationship are you most grateful for?
What in your patience? When we talk about love is patient, love is kind, love doesn't keep a record of wrong. I mean, your love, period, but your patience. Like I can, most women are not patient enough to let a man really grow, grieve, and to have the grace for him to become who God wants him to be. Like, but you have to support that only if he's putting in the work, and you supported me putting in the work on me to be a better man for you, for myself first, and then for God, of course, first, and then for me, and then everyone else, because it starts with God and me. And so I wanted that, even hearing Usher talk about not wanting to string his fiance along,
They got married 2-11.
They got married to 11, literally in the 90-day window, after
11.
we got married, because Usher is my spirit animal.
And that just proves it.
It just proved it. Yeah, I mean,
He's not an animal. Spirit person.
Some people would say.
Oh, well, I bet.
I mean, the way he has the Usher effect. I mean, people just risk it all for him. Write the song, Usher. Anyway, I'm on an Usher kick. But
I love him.
it's just, I know, we both love Usher. It's crazy. Like, we're literally made for each other. But it's just like that part, you just gave me really that patience.
Thank you, babe. Yes. And which is so ironic because, because patience is not something that I thought that I was really good at. Yeah. I knew this from a very young age that I lacked a lot of patience. I wanted and I needed things instantaneously. Sure, there's a lot of other things in that. And I used to be like, man, I'm like, you're not patient. Just be patient, You're like, man, you're not patient, And so I carried that for a long time. And it was just the other day that we were having this conversation where I was like, my whole life, people have been telling me I lack patience and I'm not patient enough. And I am allowed to be so patient with you. I allowed myself to be so patient with you. And that really is an example of how love changes you. You really, the one thing that you think that you can, suck at, ends up being the right person brings all good things out of you.
Yes.
And for that, patience is one of them. And so, yes,
Yes.
patience. I would agree with you. I was extremely patient.
And I mean, you still work on patience now. I mean, we all do. I was called, I literally have it tattooed. Count it all joy, brother, and sister, when you face various trials. Know that the testing of your trials produces patience. Let patience have her perfect work in you so that you will be mature and complete, lacking nothing. So I love when patience in the version, because I put a few versions to kind of articulate what I feel patience was. Patience is a female. Patient women are very patient. Like you all have to incubate a child for 9 to 10 months and deliver it and care for it, and with, of course, your husband, but for those who have them, but you know, you want someone to help you with that. But your patient, women's patience is a lot more.
Because it comes with love and nurturing.
Yeah, and I'm that's what I'm most grateful for. So even when I say my calling script, let patience have her perfect work in you, so you would be mature, complete, lacking nothing. And then I said on the third podcast, love. When I was a child, I put away childish things. You know, when I became a man, I put away childish things. I thought, I reasoned, I put those things away. When patience allowed me to mature, to become a man. Now, I'm not saying I was your project. That's what I'm not saying. Or you married.
You had to figure that out on your own.
Or
I gave you the space to do that. I wasn't puppeteering you into a man.
Exactly.
Which I have done before, and it's not fun.
Yes, and you didn't say
Building a man is not fun.
Yeah, build a boy, build a man, because there are little boys and they don't put away childish things. So the fact that you gave me patience was also a gift from God to give me patience, because just at the time we were meeting, I was so jacked up mentally, I couldn't love you fully. And I will say that over and over again, because I'm so tired of brothers who are not married or who haven't healed from a divorce or who are still using their podcast platforms to get the other P word. So that's a problem when you are using a platform to talk about relationships and you don't have a healthy relationship with yourself or with your God or with another person, you know? And so that patience allowed me to let more love in, because you let me take that time with God. And it wasn't like, you better get right and I need you to mature. It was nothing like that. I just said, this is what I need to be a better man. This is what I need for me. I didn't say, this is what I need for us. Like, let's barter a deal. I said, this is what I need for me. And then when I get to the place where I know I can articulate my feelings, then we can cross that bridge and talk about marriage. I don't think, and it wasn't about the money at the time, because then I had it. I had the amount of money, but it really was about the mindset and the maturity and the connection and the intimacy with ourselves. So even though we're doing these cards, this is what happens. And I love, go ahead.
No.
Well, I love that it happened, because this naturally happens every time we sit down and do these cards. And even if you're married.
And disclaimer, well, trigger alert also. I pulled a card one time that led me to talk about some childhood trauma that sent me into complete tears and, having to re-experience or relive those things. But then at the same time, that allowed you to understand deeper why I felt the things that I felt associated with that particular card.
Yes.
So yes, it can bring you closer and have these great conversations, but it also can trigger things
trauma
in you that maybe you didn't know were there.
Yeah.
So just take care of yourself also.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, the last card says,
prophetic.
What's a memory, excuse me, from your childhood? What's a memory from your childhood you most want to remember?
Most want to. See, it was the opposite last time. That's what it was.
Yes.
That's
good.
That I most want to remember.
Want to remember, yes.
Wow, that's a really good one. I would say, and this is probably because one of my cousins were talking to me the other day in DM, I would say the good times, of course, but I would say there was a good period, maybe like I would say like 8 or 9, where you just love being a kid and exploring. And so we were res kids, of course, and so we
Yes.
loved just being out wandering. And there were these sand dunes by our uncle's house that we would just like sled down and be at all day and come home with sand just everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, my mom would be so upset and stay out of those sand dunes. But it was the best time. And
Wow.
I remember we would like roll each other up in whatever and just roll each other down. It was huge.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I don't know. It was easy to entertain yourself on the res. Like, this is your playground. Great. Just endless land. There's no police. Great. You know, we got into a lot of different things. But I'll say that time period of just being able to explore and be a kid and be free.
Yes.
Which I think most people will say, you know, you're a kid for a lot shorter than you are an adult.
Yes.
And our mom used to, you don't be so, you know, crazy to grow up like you're gonna want to be a kid again. And so I think her sharing those things to us at an early age really encouraged us to continue to be kids and not want to grow up to have so much responsibility and you know, adulting. So
yeah, that's
she encouraged us to be kids.
That's good.
Not like
go outside and play.
not like being in makeup and being in your room all day and nonsense.
On the iPad playing Roblox.
Nonsense.
Yeah.
Like, we literally were kids. And so, yeah, we would be basketball all day long, you know, whatever that looked like. So I love that. I love that time of just being free because you really are ignorant to how the world kind of turns and you're able to enjoy life.
Yeah,
Some of us.
So, yeah, I mean moments. Yeah, that's why I said that you most want to remember. I like that because there's stuff we don't want to remember, you know, and even, you know, I think a lot of people, and I love how we are flowing with this because you need to see how it happens in real time. So a lot of people do not know who they are with. Even if they are married. And I can speak to that. I did not know who this woman was enough before she was pregnant. You know, we start off with the sensuality, the sex. We start off with the most unknowing ways to know people.
I know.
And that's where we get ourselves messed up time and time again. First of all, you don't know yourself. Let's start there. Go ahead.
That reminded me of PB, our pastor. Shout out to Union Church.
Union Church, Charlotte. Yep.
Pastor Ryan, him talking about you will have this space of intimacy with a person, with a man. You will, you know, get pregnant, have a baby by a person, and like not even have access or understanding of their bank account. I was like,
you share your body, you share a baby, but you don't share a bank account. You never share
no bank account. You never share personal information that, you know. I'm like, that would never come up in my mind, you know, but like, that's true.
It's true.
You share your whole body with a person and not knowing, if you're not even just knowing pieces of information or like, I'm not willing to share this information with you. It's also like suspect. Like, you want me to share my body, but you don't want to share these pieces of you. You know, not just finances, obviously, but like emotions, like men. I don't know your feelings. I don't know your desires. Like some people are struggling with sexuality and they don't want to admit that to their partners. And, you know, think that it's all of these other issues or physical, you know, incapabilities. It's like, or you just not attracted to women. Like,
and your wife is your beard. And it's just come welcome the truth in your life. Love yourself that you can live in your fullest truth.
'Cause that's
and
really
not do damage for other people.
So tying it back to you.
Go ahead.
And the card.
Yeah. What about it?
How do you think, well, I guess I was just, okay, so you can marry. How do you know that you know me if you claim that in your previous relationship that you didn't know her enough
In my previous incarceration, let's get the
I knew
language
you was
right.
gonna say something. I didn't know what to say.
In the previous bid that I did,
Right.
called.
Down at county cell number block. No. How do you know that you know me now well enough to have married with me? We've been together for more than 5 years.
Well, it's.
Do you know
Well,
me enough?
well, because we were friends. Like, I got to know you as a friend. Like, when you start off, I want to say, when you start off fucking and you not friends, that's where you get it messed up.
That's what I was trying to.
Thank you. You alley-ooped it. And I was going to say it. We probably bleep it out. I don't know. But that's the problem. We start off sharing our bodies. We sharing the D and not sharing even our dreams. If you can't trust a woman enough to share your dreams with her, why are you sharing your D with her? Like, for real. Like, why are you sharing it with a man and he can't even share his emotions with you? Like, some people are married, you don't even know what money your spouse is bringing in. Like, that is not oneness. And I'm sorry. We have to get to a place where conversations help cultivate intimacy.
Yeah, I have a question.
Roicia, you have a question in the classroom? Go ahead.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're so smart. I'm the brightest student.
You know I'm a student. I'm a student of life. Now, I would argue for somebody that people like to experience another person sexually before they know that, okay, this is somebody that I can deal with moving forward. Absolutely. So it's like a test drive, if you will. But test driving, because I know that's what people are. I want to know what they're working with, or I want to know which also makes me think about the 40-year-old virgin. Like, you're a suspect if you're not having sex. Like, what's wrong with you? You know. So I feel like there are all of these other little things. And nothing wrong with you being a virgin. If you're a virgin, do your thing. Right. But we're thinking of someone in particular. It's just it makes you like go, because I don't know, it's something about my age, and I know younger than me, that if people, because and maybe it's my generation, what they did with that whole sex before marriage, what was the campaign? The purity. Abstinence. Abstinence. Yeah. And just the unrealistic expectations associated with that, I feel like really convoluted a lot of people and like either went completely extremes. Right. So all I know is what was happening in high school that I was not necessarily a part of, and I know it's not better. Being a social worker, it's actually incredibly worse. So I say all that to say that people are now are not even virgins in high school. So I know. And have tried everything. So now we're talking about us being adults. Yeah. And you've already experienced what you've experienced from a time, let's say 16, to where, let's say 24, 25. Yes. So you only know how and what way to experience people and making, you see what I'm saying? So to tell people like, don't start a fucking, they like, well, I don't even know how to not do that because this is how this relationship goes. And it really is like a swipe left, swipe right situation to experience people in this way. And tossing people just like it's a live app, like the show I was on. That's what I'm saying. It was a live love experiment. So people are doing lust experiments and finding themselves with STDs, spiritually transmitted demons, and you wonder why you can't let go of somebody, not just physical STD, but you wonder why, because that person was in your spirit, because the church has not created the beautiful biblical framework of the beauty and the pleasure of sex, not just to multiply and have children, right. But when you are not naked, right. But when you are not responsible with something that can create life. Yes. You have to be held accountable. But we haven't been given them the framework. We just tell people don't have sex. Yeah. Or remain a virgin into this. And you keep telling somebody not to do it, they're going to do it even more. So the abstinence culture messed it up. The purity culture, I kiss dating goodbye. All of that white evangelical bullshit really led people astray.
and mess them up more. Even Mike Todd's book, Relationship Goals. All of that stuff. I see people reading relationship goals and have more baby daddies than they can count. So stop it.
I read the book too, but I ain't got no baby daddies.
Well, I mean,
I was curious.
It's a good beginner, but you need some solid theology.
Well, and I'm talking about, let's be realistic.
And boundaries.
So, okay, there we go.
Yeah.
So now we're talking more about what the actual problem is. Because I feel like had I been taught and understood good boundaries.
Yes.
Because I feel good when we set boundaries, period, healthy boundaries, it is a piece and reflection of how we love ourselves.
Yes.
We don't let people walk over us. We don't let people talk to us crazy. We don't let people treat us like this, et cetera, et cetera. I feel like if we had a better understanding in early ages, i.e. home parenting environments, about how to create and establish healthy boundaries, we do a better job at protecting our bodies, our minds, our everything, and not just experiencing people left and right.
Yes.
But I think that the good boundary setting is not something we talk about in our culture. It's not something we see exhibited either.
Yes.
Except when it's don't tell nobody what goes on in this house. That's a good boundary, but it's also super toxic.
Yeah.
But that's a boundary I can think of that
Yes.
we as Black people have instilled in our culture, rather than having conversations with your kids like, this is how to create a good boundary with a friend. You know, this is what you're willing to accept. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
What are you not willing to accept from another person?
I think those are barricades, not boundaries.
Are they?
Because boundaries are healthy to me. Barricades is like, don't come in here. Like that, when I see that in the visual, even when you talk about how did you get to know me, like you were my friend, but also when you test drive a car, you know the kind of car you like, you know the mileage, you know the engine, and then you go and test drive it to see. But you have already started discovering it, and some people just don't. They need a car and they need to get somewhere, they jump in the car. Go ahead.
Well, you said something was good though, because but you assume that the person, we do know the mileage, we know the car, unless it's the Carfax, because a nigga will lie in a minute, I'm telling you. So, I can check the Carfax.
Right.
You giving me, ain't never been in no car accident,
Right.
ain't never had nothing wrong with it.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying? And you take that for truth. And then somewhere down the line, someone sends you a Carfax and you like, this mother been in multiple accidents, has multiple drivers.
Right.
So like, I feel like that's what we dealing with too. With women is that I know you want to think people are coming with good intentions and a person of integrity, and like, who was it just talked about in his comedy sketch, like, just tell a woman straight up, like, they'll be okay, thank you, and they can make their decision. Right, and that's kind of how I was coming. Most women come from that mindset,
and you did.
I did
when you met me.
I sure did.
Yep.
So
and
I'm like,
straight up. Yep.
So I'm like, okay.
Yep.
But that's where I think that we don't get it wrong. Y'all get it wrong by trying to like be slick. And it's one thing about women is we got intuition. Yeah. So you can just tell us, or we gonna
not all women.
You're right. But
you said about us, because I've seen some women marrying brothers who don't like them. Well, and I'll just keep it. But we have to have discernment, and women should have intuition. But when the Carfax are being read,
right?
You know what I'm saying. So, with all that being said, I want to pause because we got to get into what the Bible says for the next episode. Because again, if we keep asking these same questions, like when I entered your life, what is it that makes you different? It's the God factor.
It at the end of the day, that's really what it is.
So you can act like you don't want God in your life, but until you have God in your life is going to be like a ship tossed and driven, like the old saints used to say. Battered by an angry sea. That's what they...
And I'll say, as a woman who has everything, who has education, who has a career, who got money, who got the whip, you don't even think like what you're searching for or what you need in your life is a man of God. Yeah. So. And
that doesn't mean preacher. That don't mean bishop. That don't mean... It means somebody who let allows God to lead their life so that you are not led astray. Not the hustle men with the whole Jesus hook. Not that. Like, let me pray for you.
And you know somebody's heart.
Yeah, you really pray for discernment and get to know somebody on every level. Emotionally, mentally, financially, parentally, academically, and then physically, sexually. How about that? Intimately. Like, it starts there. That's how you can be equally yoked. So we're going to get to that soon. Thank y'all for tuning in to Now For Real. We love y'all.